done this for a couple of weeks. I think I can still remember how to do it. Just completely randomly, in the second reading, there was a distinction between the utterance of wisdom and the utterance of knowledge. And I was thinking earlier this week, what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? And I heard someone say, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. But wisdom is knowing that you don't put it in a fruit salad. Oh, that was very helpful. I do need to beg your indulgence a bit at the outset, as whilst it's almost always the case that a preacher should point away from themselves as much as possible, I need to begin this first sermon of the year with some self-disclosure. So this past week, on Wednesday, actually marked 5 years since I commenced ministry in this parish. Who was here for the commissioning service out of interest? Judith, yeah. With thanks and praise to God, things have been really pretty good these 5 years. Not easy, and not without issue, and not without tragedy and sadness, thinking of the last couple of weeks, especially. But if you were to take like a broad strokes picture, I'd say things have been pretty good. And yet, I started this year with a real sense of spiritual aridity and lowness and emptiness. It was a bit like the wine had run out. The wine had run out. And that is a perfectly smooth transition into Bible language, utterly effortless. So I realised though, we could take the wedding at Cana as hinting at an instructive pattern for life, for the spiritual journey in many respects, actually. Typically, we start off on a high. The wine is flowing, laughter abounds, it's really good. If we're a new convert or we've been reborn inwardly in some way recently, there's a whole world of excitement that just lays open. There's genuine joy of getting stuck into discipleship and learning the ropes as a Christian and connecting powerfully with the living God. The Bible comes alive for us, the sacraments are lightning rods of connectivity with the divine, and it's amazing. I remember those days fondly myself as an 18-year-old, and then again as a 20-year-old, and then again with a renewal at 27, and then another renewal more recently. But at various times, the wine runs out. And again, this is true of the spiritual journey, and given the context of the gospel today, you could even say it's true of marriage as well. So I've been thinking over the changes to the congregation this past year and where things are at, and paying attention to nudges from the Spirit about what this year might look like for us. And the vision that is taking shape is one in which I have a great deal of hope for all of us. I've got a lot of hope. We have at present got a cohort of what I would call seekers in this church. Seekers. So folks for whom the first wine has just been tapped into and is pouring forth. We have some who have burdens and are heavy laden. We have some wise disciples who have walked through the valleys, over the mountains, and been led by still waters, and know the grace of God deeply. All those ingredients together, we've got a lot to learn from each other, to grow together. But in a nutshell, or a wine jar, as it were, the vision that I have for this year is one which is intensely focused on the person of Jesus in how we know God. Like, it might sound obvious, but going back to Jesus in a sense, in a fundamental way, really focused. I was recently asked by someone, when you think of God or start to pray, do you think of Jesus? And I took that question as a nudge from the Spirit for this theme. That was one of the nudges. The National Church has this Hope 25 initiative. That was another nudge. That spiritual dryness that I felt was a nudge, as was an awareness of some fervour and energy building in some people here. Those ingredients were all part of the mix. And the thing is, the first wine will and must run out. It has to. And we'll almost certainly find that we go through several different vintages along the way of faith. And that absolutely must be. It must be. Because only then can we explore the new wine which God offers. New wine cannot be put into old wineskins. Only when we run out of a particular wine can we open ourselves for the new wine. So I've got a sense that as 2025 unfolds, those words from the steward of the banquet will be prophetic for us in our life together. You have kept the good wine until now. Not until the end, but until now. You kept good wine until now, and it absolutely overflows. An American poet, Richard Wilbur, wrote about this theme for his son's wedding, drawing on the wedding at Cana, and I'll share a little part of it now. He writes, St. John tells how, at Cana's wedding feast, the water pots poured wine in such amount that by his sober count, there were 100 gallons at the least. It made no earthly sense, unless to show how whatsoever love elects to bless brings to a sweet excess that can without depletion overflow. So I'm hoping that this vision resonates with you. Back to Jesus, you've kept the good wine until now, and it absolutely overflows. I did do the sums on those jars of wine, by the way. 6 jars of 20 gallons, using the conservative number given by the evangelist, is 120 gallons. That's 454 litres. For us now, a standard glass of wine is 150 mils, equating to 3,026 glasses of wine. We don't know how many people were at the wedding in Cana. We don't know whether the wine ran out because the family was of modest financial means, or whether there were just too many guests getting plastered. But either way, the Lord provided abundantly. 3,026 standard glasses of wine in 2024 terms. You know, in August this year, there will be about 100 Anglican clergy in Bustleton for the biennial clergy conference. I don't even think we could take that much. I don't think we could put away that much. But more than the quantity, it's about that language. You've kept the good wine until now. So keep your eyes and ears open as that vision unfolds. But I do hope that you will join us, as our discipleship unfolds this year. The Lord be with you.